Saturn V was the rocket used during the Apollo program to bring our astronauts to the moon.
If you look up ahead to the left, you will see the first stage of a Falcon 9 rocket from our friends at SpaceX.
Thank you, sir.
Hello everyone and welcome to NASA Tram Shuttle to Rocket Park. My name is Arya and our driver is Annie. We're here to make sure your visit to the Rocket Park at Georgia Space Center is fun, factual, and free from incident. So before we get started, let's review some important safety information. Please remain seated at all times while the tram is in motion, keeping arms, legs, feet, and other objects you would like to take home with you safely inside the tram at all times. Please refrain from eating, smoking, or vaping throughout this tour. Drinks are fine as long as they have a secure lid on them. If you are traveling at any small train whose feet do not fully reach the floor, they should be in the center seat between two adults if possible. If your child is under 4, they should be in the lap of an adult. But once be sure to return with the same number of guests that we left with. Your exploration of Rocket Park is self-guided, so you can board a returning tram at your leisure. Again, my name is Ari and our driver is Annie. Looks like we're ready to take off, so Annie, whenever you're ready, we are all clear. We are now departing Space Center Houston, entering Johnson Space Center, which is one of the 10 NASA field centers. JAC has been the heart of human space operations for over 50 years. The land that JAC sits on was previously owned by Rice University, who gifted the land to NASA back in 1962. Before that, Humble Oil Company, now known as ExxonMobil, owned the land and was primarily used as farmland. Alright folks, we're going to pass through a short tunnel. I ask everyone to please lower their volumes while we're in this tunnel, as to not disrupt anybody with auditory sensitivities. You may notice deer and other wildlife on campus. That's because JSC is also a wildlife preserve, with more than 250 deer living here, as well as other animals such as rabbits, turtles, and even an alligator named Eco. Like so many other things at NASA, his name's an acronym, Eco standing for Main Engine Cutoff. To your left, you will see the world-famous Longhorn cattle. These magnificent animals are named Tex, and they are part of the Longhorn Project, a non-profit organization operating on land leased by JSC. These award-winning longhorns are cared for by high school students and are exhibited across Texas and neighboring states. Additionally, the Longhorn Project welcomes thousands of students annually to learn about agriculture, genetics, and other STEM fields. Here's one of the many exhibits on JSC's global earthbound education, as well as space science. At the tram, you'll see a large white building. This building and the surrounding area make up the George W. Abbey Rocket Park. This area was dedicated to George Abbey in 2021. George Abbey was the former center director at JSC and worked as the Apollo spacecraft assistant manager. The building you see on the right houses the Saturn V rocket. Saturn V was the rocket used during the Apollo program to bring our astronauts to the moon. The Saturn V is the world's tallest, heaviest, and most powerful rocket in existence. The rocket inside this building is the only flight-certified Saturn V left in the entire world, and is made of pieces from the three canceled Apollo missions, Apollos 18, 19, and 20 specifically. Speaking of fun facts, the Saturn V inside this building is taller than the Statue of Liberty back in New York City. Alright folks, we are now approaching Rocket Park and shall be dropping you off here, and you can stay here for as long as you desire. A few reminders before we let you go. Please do not cross the road to go see the Longhorn cattle, as that is private property of JSC. Please do not climb anything here at Rocket Park, including the rockets, displays, trees, and railings. When you're ready to leave Rocket Park, you can line up early on and board any train that pulls up to get you back to Space Center Houston. You do not have to get back on this specific tram. Additionally, please remain seated until the tram comes to a full and complete stop. When the tram does come to a full and complete stop, please exit to the left-hand side of the tram only. Alright folks, you are all clear to exit on the left-hand side only. Thank you for visiting Rocket Park, and we hope the rest of your day is out of this world.
What actually was on that?
Delícia, não fiz amigos.
way this way? Mama? Mama?
Did you read this? This is the one that exploded. Yeah, Apollo to, yeah, this is it.
Before we get going back to Space Center, I would like to remind you all to please always remain seated while on the tram, and Seb, whenever you're ready, we are all clear. I hope you all enjoyed your visit to Rocket Park. Now that you have spent some time seeing the Saturn V, I would like to take some time and talk about the next generation of space flight. The Space Launch System, or SLS, is the rocket that was used for Artemis 1 and will be used for Artemis 2 and 3. The SLS rockets are slightly shorter than the Saturn V, but up to 15% more powerful. This makes the SLS the most powerful rocket NASA has ever built. SLS will enable our astronauts to begin their journey landing back on the lunar surface and will enable exploration destinations far beyond that. If you look up ahead to the left, you will see the first stage of a Falcon 9 rocket from our friends at SpaceX. The first stage of a Falcon 9 is entirely reusable. This rocket flew 2 separate resupply missions to the ISS in 2017. With this technology, we can send astronauts into space more frequently and at a much lower cost. Next to the Falcon 9, you'll see a mock-up of the Space Shuttle Independence on top of a real Boeing 747 shuttle carrier aircraft. While the Independence is a mock-up shuttle, the Boeing 747 beneath it is the actual shuttle carrier, bearing several shuttles across the country on no fewer than 155 separate occasions from landing sites in California and New Mexico back to Florida in preparation for the shuttle's next launch. We are now arriving back at Space Center Houston. At this time, I would like to ask you all to please check your surrounding area and your seat for any personal belongings so you do not leave anything here on the tram. I would like to ask you to also please remain seated until the tram comes to a full and complete stop. And please remain seated until we can get the gates open to Independence Plaza. Once again, please remain seated until the gates are open. You may now exit to your right-hand side, and please enjoy the rest of your day here at Space Center Houston.